In terms of content, it's cool to have a schedule, but what you don't want to do is get trapped in the idea that every day, like work, like a routine, you go and you post your shit and then you go through your workflow. The workflow is just like a checklist to make sure you're doing all things to maximize the potential of making revenue, but it's not to limit you to that's all you do, or that's what your focus is to check off your checklist for the day. You're not an employee. The major difference in employees and entrepreneurs is an employee goes to work to get work done. An entrepreneur goes to work to achieve the objective. So an employee will go to work and go, as long as I do these 7 things that I'm getting paid to do on my job today, I did my part. But an entrepreneur doesn't go home until the objective of that day is done, which is they moved the needle and made money. That means you might finish your entire workflow, and this has happened with clients with us. You might do the entire workflow perfectly every single day, but no money comes in. So I want you to have the guideline of the content schedule, but the focus I want you to have, the objective is not finishing the content or following the workflows. It's doing what you need to do to make money. So here's an example. You might have the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, post this and this and this, post A, B, and C. Instead, just have it as a guideline. But what I want you focused on is post A on Monday and then go back to see how it did. If you get a bunch of leads from it, don't post again on B unless it makes sense to funnel the next thing to that. Just reach out to those leads and book them in, because what are you doing? You're optimizing for outcome, which is sales. Now, if you have enough leads to talk to, then talk to them. Don't post again. If your time is if you have finite time every day to spend on something, talk to the leads you get. If you get 200 likes or comments on a post, then book calls with them. And if you have calls booked, then just focus on closing those calls. And until you do that, you don't go back to posting again. I'm not saying don't post, especially if there's 2 of you, but I'm saying make sure you don't get trapped in the objective being to do what we're saying, but rather to do thing that will take you the closest to the next sale. And that will vary on a week-to-week basis based on your ability to be aware of the business's patterns. Okay. So I like to reverse engineer to make this easy. I like to go, if I'm on 10 sales this month, reverse engineer, that's 2, let's say 3 sales a week or 2 sales a week. I go, well, how do I make 10 sales this month? I have to, let's just say this week, 10 sales this week. Let's say that. Well, I have to get on calls, at least 10 calls, and say to 10 people my price. And maybe if I close at 30% close rate, I actually need to get on 30 calls to get 10 of them to say yes to me. Okay. Well, do I have 30 calls? No. Okay. So I reverse engineer. So what's in the way of me having 30 calls? Oh, that's offering calls in the chat, like proposing a call, like making an offer in the chat. Hey, let's get on a call and talk. All right. Well, do I have people to talk to right now? I do. So then I should go in, only focus on what I'm optimizing my time to only focus on booking 30 calls. And if I have enough leads, I do that. If I don't have enough leads, I go, so what's getting in the way of me booking 30 calls? I have enough people to talk to, or the people I'm talking to, they're not like exactly my target. Okay. So then you go and find and post to get leads. You see how this works? Every activity you're committing time to, you're dedicating resources to, has a purpose. And the purpose is to move the next needle in the chain of making money. So reverse engineer, to make money, I need to make offers on the phone. To make offers on the phone, I need to have calls booked. To have calls booked, I need people to talk to. To have people to talk to, I need to have engagement on my posts. So then you go and post things. So don't get stuck in the Monday, Tuesday now, let's post this. Instead, I need you to get intelligent enough to look at your past activities, see if you achieve the objective of that, what that point was, to move to the next thing. So if you don't get enough leads, then you post again. If you got enough leads, make sure you're talking to the leads before you post again. If it's a choice between posting again for 2 hours, making a new post, or talking to leads, I'd rather do this one. So the mindset in the beginning of the business, when it comes to the focus that you're optimizing for, the KPI you're optimizing for, it's whatever moves the needle to getting the next sale. It's not to just follow the routine. It's not just to post again. It's not just to follow the training. The training is merely a training system for you to learn what the factors of making money looks like, but you can rearrange it depending on what you see is working. So that's the main thing I wanted to tell you about the scheduling. Don't get stuck in like this, like my work routine. Don't let routines dictate your day. Let the progress rate towards KPI make the day. Pretty much think of it like a checkpoint every day. If you have enough leads, check. Are you booking enough calls? No. Okay. So that's what we focus on. If we're booking enough calls, check. What's the next one? Are people showing up to the calls? Are they buying? No. Okay. So that's what we work on. Are people showing up to calls and buying? Check. Now we're like, are we delivering to them? Are they happy with what they're getting? Or do we have everything we need to deliver? No. Let's focus on it. If yes, check. Then you go back to the beginning and be like, how do we do 10 times the volume on this now? That's it. And remember, all your activities, your time and your focus should be justified from the reverse engineering of what the objective is, which will be called KPI. So key performance indicator. The indicator we're trying to hit is X amount of sales. That should dictate what you do every day. I want X, and we want to make our first sale this week. All right, to make our first sale, we got to talk to 5 people. To get 5 people on the phone, we need to book 8 calls with our show up rate. To get 8 people on the call, we need to offer 12 people a call. To get 12 people to a call proposal in the chats, we're going to need to message 100 people. And then to message 100 people, we need 100 people to talk to. So let's go post things until we get 100 unique people engaging so we know who to talk to. Then you start to see your averages, and that's how you can start projecting how much you want to make every month consistently by reverse engineering your averages to see what you need to hit for that to happen. I'll give you a small example. I was talking to a lead client the other day. I said, the last time you did a webinar, a masterclass, how many calls did you book? She said 17 calls. I'm like, how many sales did you make? She said 7, or she said 18 calls and she closed 7. I said, that's like 40% close rate. She got 7 clients from 18 calls booked from a webinar she did. With those numbers, she made $35,000 from that one webinar, which is $5,000 each, 7 clients. I said, if you did a webinar every week, to see I'm projecting for her, per month, you can make $140,000 projected, because each webinar makes you about $35,000. And that's only if you do it at the same level, not even if you grow it. So I'm like, so set up your month now for August, reverse engineer the 140,000 in terms of sales you get, how your webinar, see how much people have to show up to the webinar, have to register for the webinar, show up to the webinar for you to get that many calls. Because if you could replicate this, but now 4 times a month more, you'll make 140 grand next. So until you have averages and data to look at patterns to project, now we know what averagely it takes us to do X, Y, Z.